part 3. So now I'm taken by 2 L's, female L's. Well, who are the 2 female L's? Yahuah Al Elyon. I've got to look at my chart. I haven't memorized the other names for Yahuah Al Elyon, and Yahuah Al Olam. And this was very surprising because they're over the topic of Earth and Olam's creation here. They are very much at odds with each other. But over the topic of what they wanted to show me, because I am in life. I am in life with respect to Al Elyon, but I'm also in life with respect to Yahuah. You can be in, really. Which hat? Which hat are we wearing? Are we wearing this hat today? Are we wearing this hat today? But the life, I was visited, specifically this instance, the life side of Olam, the Juno Hera life side of Olam, which is the first that I can remember. Maybe they visited, I've been visited by the life side of Olam before, but this was very specific. And so 2 L's together, not surprising, 2 different gods together, the 2 female gods in this case. So they came to show me, in short, what is the message? That all ethereal power, this river, this frozen river, is ethereal power. I was taken to the Olympus Asgard reality and shown now that all ethereal power is terminated to the earth. Now, I've said this before. I've known it theoretically. They were showing me things, telling me what they were going to do. But now, and probably, and I don't know if there's been a coasting, what have you. There was a coasting aspect. But now, as of this recording, if power dwindled, because there was an aspect where the communication dwindled, but it was terminated as of September 22nd, 2021. Ethereal communication terminated on that date. Power terminated as well, but maybe there was a dwindling. I don't know, but they've definitely come to tell me. See, we knew this by things that they had told us, and so I had begun to say it, even though they had not specifically said it to me, that all ethereal power is terminated to the earth. Well, now, these 2 L's agreeing together on the topic of the Olympus Asgard ethereal power reality, the 8-dimensional reality, have come to me and specifically said and shown me. Boy, I was in it. I was on it. I mean, it was, it wasn't just like somebody came and talked to me. No, I was there. All ethereal power is terminated to the earth. And so what this does now is the governments and organizations of Earth no longer have ethereal power. In the past 6,000 years, they used ethereal power. Individuals, groups who had knowledge, who had ability, were able to take hold upon ethereal power and use it, and for, potentially governmental purposes. And so when you see the symbols of ethereal power, the 4 sources of ethereal power, the man seraph, which is the highest form, that's why the spirit is preeminent in this respect. The highest form of life is man. And so the ethereal power and the spirit, that is why the spirit, the El Elyon spirit reality, is depicted, the seraph, the ethereal power of the spirit reality, is depicted as the man seraph. It is the highest form of life, the highest form of ethereal power. And then likewise, the messenger of the El Elyon reality is the pure Arca being, Yahuah, the archangel Yahuah, one of the creator beings. It's interesting that one of the creators, this is one of the 3 eternals. The Hexagon has an eternal, one eternal. There's 5 Yahuahs. There's Yahuah, which is the eternal, the breath, the endless line, an eternal, in Erebus. Eternity, the infinite arca. You read now the substance of that reality is arca. This is one of the creator beings. This is the one. The mixing of the substances. In Genesis, it says the Spirit brooded upon the waters. This is not H2O waters. These are the four waters of life. The four waters of substance. These are the four substances. It's water. It's not waters, H2O. No. It's the Spirit, the creator being, brooding, thinking, coming up with, let's mix substances to create beings. We have four waters, and we can create four different types of beings out of these waters. But if we mix the waters, we have the possibility of 15, 16 possibilities. And that's what gives rise to the different types of created beings. The L's, Yahuah Al Elyon, Yahuah Al Shaddai, Yahuah Al Ehim, Yahuah Al Olam, are created beings that are created out of the mixed waters of life. Not the same as the creator beings. They are, but because they partake as part, not partake, more correctly, they have arca, eternity, as part of their substance, then they have power over creation, and then they too can create and destroy. Because they have arca, eternity. No, that's not eternity. It's eternal, but infinite throne substance as a part of their substance, because eternity is a different substance. Eternal. Is it eternal? No. Heaven, infinite. There's earth substance, heaven substance, eternal substance, and infinite throne substance. The arca is the infinite throne substance. Eternity is a different substance. But mixing all these substances together is what gives rise to all the different types of beings. Because of the substances, there's pure substance. For pure substances, so there's a possibility of another one being introduced, which would give 32 possibilities. That's another topic. Anyway, so the L's got together and agreeing together, Yahuah Al Elyon and Yahuah Al Olam, the life side of Yahuah Al Olam, brought me to show me, took me into Olympus Asgard, the 8D Olympus Asgard ethereal power reality, took me there to show me that all ethereal power is now, present tense, terminated to the earth. Before, I spoke of it doctrinally. They spoke to me of it. They showed me the changes that were taking place coming up on 3 years ago. 3 years ago, they started to talk to me about the changes that were taking place as we were entering into the transition between the changes of the eras, between the era of the fishers of men and the era of the water bearers. And now for the last 2 years and 4 months, we have been in the era of the age of Aquarius, the age of the water bearers, the era of Yahuah Al Elyon. We are in the age of the Spirit, the age of the Son, S-O-N, the age of Yahuah Al Ehim, so-called Jesus. The church era has ended, or at least his church, built upon him. But now, because he talked about the Spirit, and the church overall is a failure. That was one of the final transmissions made through ethereal power, the final transmissions that were sent to earth that anyone could receive. Some of the final transmissions, including the trial of the earth, before and during and around the time of the termination of ethereal power, were the final transmissions that anyone that had any kind of spirituality could receive, was that churchianity, as the 9th group, because there have been 8 prior groups that the L's have come to and said, I'm going to choose you as my people, and they failed. There's been different failures, and these are found throughout the scriptures, the different groups. The Canaanites, I think it was Canaanites. I'm trying to think. It was the iniquity of the Canaanites is not yet full. Whatever that group was. I don't know if it was Canaanites, but because Avraham was being chosen as the next group, but the previous group says their iniquity is not yet full. They were the chosen group, but they failed. So then the L's came to another group. And then Avraham was a chosen group, but then they failed. Then Israel was a group, and they failed. And Yehuda was a group, and they failed. And so all together, was it, what's his name? Avraham's father, Terah? Something era. Terah died. He was chosen. He failed. He was a failure, but he had been picked apparently. Anyway, so I've got this list. I'll go over it with Daniel again. There are a total of 10 different chosen individuals. The so-called chosen people of God. Now that's the Olam reality in death. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those that were chosen in life. Potentially even Olam, the life side of Olam. But these individuals, the so-called today, you hear about the so-called chosen people of God. No, they are in death. They are the remnants of something thousands of years ago that failed. They're part of the failure of various peoples thousands of years ago. And they exist now in death because of their failure. Anyway, so there have been 9 failures, and now the final 10th group, the spiritual individuals. See, the 9 previous groups, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm correct doctrinally, it was all based upon flesh. These were all flesh propositions, groups of flesh. But then the door opened in Acts chapter 15 to the 10th group, because the 9th group was a failure. And the 10th group now is irrespective of the flesh. And that's why the Messiah, knowing about this, said that those that must worship him in spirit and in truth. Claims of the flesh, and it's also in Galatians. You cannot be made perfect by the flesh. You began, as the apostle is saying, I think it's Shaul, Paul said, you started out in the spirit, but now you think you can be made perfect by the flesh. No, claims of flesh are an absolute failure. They are demonstrated continually, repeatedly, 9 times throughout the scriptures to be a failure. Churchianity is that 9th group, and they are a failure. Churchianity is a failure. Of course, religious persons in churchianity are going to make their various claims. I know some individuals who are religious and not so spiritual, or not as spiritual as they could be, and they just have this continued opinion that, yes, the church and triumphant and the gates of hell, and I'm going to build my church and the gates of hell shall not prevail, blah, 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 and all these things, which are doctrinally correct, but that's if the church is alive and following and being spiritual and being righteous. They are not. Churchianity is not. Churchianity has fallen for lucre and the debauched sex rituals and so churchianity, the papist Protestants they're just wicked. They're wicked, and that's what one of the broadcasts was. There were these 3 different. There was 2 big broadcasts over periods of days, more than a week. These continued segments of this long broadcast to everybody here on earth. Anybody. It was like a final farewell broadcast. Warnings, etc., and the current updates of spiritual conditions of the earth. That soon ethereal power was going to be terminated, and communications were being made to all the spiritual individuals through ethereal power, but ethereal power was being terminated, and so for those that were going to continue to be spiritual and righteous, they had to switch to Arca, eternity, infinite Arca, eternity spiritual communications, rather than temporal, ethereal power communications. So these 2 beings, being also power, the L's are Arca power beings. They're both Arca and power beings. They came to show me what's going on in the power reality and took me there and showed me that now, present tense, all ethereal power is terminated to the earth. Now, I knew it doctrinally, what they had been telling me and showing me starting 3 years ago. The transition orthogonally of a 90-degree change There's a lot of these orthogonal relationships, different angular type relationships, the difference between so-called real and imaginary numbers, if you will. That's a real basic, very basic type of something to, say, well, it's not real. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. There's a lot of this fleshly aspect of, well, it's not real. They want to be able to have some sort of tangible energy in their energy reality. They've got to be able to taste, touch, smell, and feel it in their energy reality. No. Not if it's ethereal, not if it's arca, not if it's one of these realities that's outside the energy reality. You cannot sense that. You might, there might be some intrusions, projections, and emanations from these other realities into the energy reality occasionally, but that was in the past. I can't say that there won't be any more intrusions, or just where information is communicated by either projection or emanation. But the arca communications are the primary communications for spiritual individuals now. So that's how you kind of know. All these alleged spiritual individuals, they aren't talking about what's really going on spiritually. They're just saying things to make you feel good. We're going to speak smooth things unto you and ingratiate ourselves to you, and you will send cash. And so they don't know anything about the Book of Life. You'll notice, do they talk about the Book of Life? No. Do they talk about the Arca reality? No. Do they talk about the ethereal power Olympus Asgard reality? No. Do they talk about the L's? Not really. They talk about what they've read and what they have of hearsay knowledge, but they don't. It's like reading the book. They've read a book. They know the information in the book, which now potentially is sealed. The book is sealed now. The book was unsealed. Now the books are sealed. They're getting even dumber. The books that's out of the Tanakh, one of the prophets, which I've said before. The book is delivered unto one. He says, I can't read it. It is sealed, and it is delivered unto another. And he says, I can't read it. I am unlearned. So the ethereal, these alleged spiritual individuals, they aren't really saying anything spiritual. It's like Scripture says, they catch every man each other's words. They just receive their instructions from their handlers, from their warmonger, death merchant, child human sacrificing, organ harvesting, whatever, these death merchants. And they just speak whatever the demons in the can, AI, demons in a can, speak whatever the AI tells them to manipulate and to cajole or otherwise manipulate and control a predetermined response out of the human psychology of the energy harvested masses. Not really anything spiritual going on. If there is something spiritual going on, it might be familiar spirits, demons, evil spirits, unclean spirits, that kind of thing. There'll be a bare minimum type of spirituality, but it's all limited to this energy reality, and it's all going to be demons and plenty of lies. Plenty of lies. Anyway, so if you come across somebody who's supposedly spiritual, are they talking about the seraphs? See, it's one thing, firsthand knowledge. What have the seraphs come? Have the seraphs come and said anything? Have the seraphs come and spoken to you, or have you interacted with any of the seraphs lately? Have you interacted with any of the archangels lately? Have you interacted with any of the L's or the Eternals? This is another one. I have been seeking the Eternals, and the Eternals, especially that breath reality. That's the one that says, you cannot look upon me lest you die. It's not to say that you can't interact with that reality, and that I've sought that reality. It's a reality of life. And that reality is interacting with me now. I have not seen her face, but I do see her. She comes to me and she interacts with me. So I am now here to tell you, I'm interacting with that breath of life reality, the one that says, you cannot look upon me lest you die. Do these so-called spiritual individuals talk about any of that? No, because they're not really spiritual. So They can't tell you about creation. They can't really tell you about physics because they're fools. And as I had been shown about 3 years ago, actually a little more, 3 years ago maybe, was it? And I already did a video on that. Yahuah's eternal arc of reality, I have it right here, that is passing over them. And what emerges is a circus of fools, clowns and fools. Clowns, the so-called intelligentsia, the so-called, we are the smart people. We have our degrees. Oh, you Masonic wizards, clowns. That includes the Jesuits and the Knights of Malta and all the other clowns. You're all clowns. Fools and clowns. And all they know how to do is throw fecal matter. Shite flingers. And Daniel told me about that. We get onto the topic of this, the filth. All they know how to do is fling fecal matter. They're monkeys throwing crap in the zoo. And this is a zoo, clown world, the zoo of clown world and fake world. And what new fecal matter is being thrown in fake world today to entertain the dum-dums? Anyway, but as regarding spiritual individuals, not hearing anything about the arc of reality, not hearing anything about the ethereal power reality. Oh, I went to heaven. Did you really? The ferryman? Did they talk about the ferryman? I haven't heard anybody talk about the ferryman and what was actually there in paradise, heaven. Well, I've been there at least 3 times now that I can remember, maybe more, I don't know. It's just like the scripture says, and maybe I've got a few ideas from the scriptures to kind of tie some scriptures together about that, but I'm not going to go there right now. But if somebody's genuinely spiritual, then the gods are going to be talking to them. These dum-dums out here and the clowns and the fools and the so-called clergy, the clowns, the gods don't talk to them. In fact, the few gods that, because they exist in death, the few that they think, yeah, we've got a covenant with, we have a covenant with death and with hell. We're in agreement. Not going to happen. All deals are off because the king, who they do not know, yeah, there's a king. And the king has told the angel of death and the power of death, who are the servants, all deals are off. Yeah, they're fools. They think they can make a deal with the agents. That's a maxim of law. He that does business with an agent does so at his own peril, because the agent may not correctly represent or act on the correct or accurate interests of the principal. So those that exist in death, they made a deal. They thought they made a deal, or they were trying to make a deal with the agents. So the agents, not accurate. And the king was away. Jimmy cracked corn and I don't care. My master's gone away. And so the agents, the mice were playing. The king has returned. The king's back. The king has told the agents, shut up and stop talking and don't say anything to them. I think. Anyway, but all deals are off. Certainly all deals are off. Or if the agents do talk to them, lies. Plenty of lies. Give them more lies. Lies and damn lies. Lies about the truth, and the truth about lies, and half lies, and whatever. Lies and lies, more lies, and white lies and black lies. And black lies matter. Not lives, lies. Black lies matter. Go ahead, you fools existing in death. Have your generous portion of lies. But as regarding those that are in truth, I like the way Deke Jackson says it. Truthy truth. He's kind of saying it facetiously in a negative way, but I like the phrase. Truthy truth. I have truth. I have truthy truth. Really? Those that are connected to the arc of reality, who are in life. They're going to be the ones that say, yep, the book of life. I was showing some more things about the book of life. That was one of the other things I went to talk to Daniel about. I was praying about a book. somebody came to talk to me. See, it was just a quick bloop. This was just, just something I heard. Getting a little more, learning a little more about the Book of Life. The Book of Life. What is the Book of Life? What is the Book of Life? Is anybody teaching you about the Book of Life? Well, the clergy aren't going to teach you about the Book of Life. They teach you about symbols of debt, cash, Federal Reserve notes. Are you sending abundant amounts of Federal Reserve notes to devil worshippers? Are you sending cash? Because we tell you things that make you feel good, and we play music that keeps your demons in check for a little while, and you feel good. And then, hours and days later, your demons are no longer in check. Your evil and unclean spirits you're either oppressed by, obsessed by, or outright possessed by. Oh, I gotta go back to church. It's the presence of the Lord. No, it's something that was built in. The laws of physics and evil spirits and stringed instruments put those evil spirits in check for a little while. So the devil worshippers have figured out that if we play some music at certain frequencies on top of that, 440. Pharaoh used to laugh and talk about that. Kumbaya. That was Pharaoh laughing at the dum-dums. Kumbaya. 440, not C, it's A. 440 hertz. A. Yeah. Kumbaya. 436? What's that, do you suppose? 436 hertz? A? Anyway, that's something else I've been kind of meditating on. Not that specifically, but, spiritual, because music is something that is a created thing, and the elves haven't talked to me a lot about music yet, but I suspect there's something there that we can know. Well, they already have told me, but it's beyond music. Music is a little tiny itty-bitty part of something much larger because of the nature of its physics and the realities, which I have discussed somewhat. But anyway, I digress. So that was this particular message, is that all ethereal power is terminated to the earth. Now, I and a few other individuals may continue to have access. I know I have access to, really everything. They've told me that. You have access to everything. I have access to all the gods. I've grown. I've had this growth process in the last few years as I've grown. And so initially, I've grown in 3 steps. Maybe there might be some more access and more steps. But, wizard talk. So wizards would always talk like that to me. It's done in steps. Yeah, the rites and the ranks, the rituals, you grow in your wizard status. But for me, as I originally had access like 3 years ago, I only had access to 6 of the gods. The 4 elves and the Archangel Michael and the Archangel Abad. I only had access to those 6. But then I grew, and I was told that now, as of an event, I have access to all of the Hexakiadekianity, all of the 12 gods, if you will. But then it became apparent to me. I said, well, now, wait a minute. There's some Eternals in there. The one that you cannot look upon. And so I asked, and of course the initial response was, that cliche out of that Hollywood movie, A Few Good Men. You can't handle it. That's what I was told. Well, I did not accept that as an answer. I continued to ask, and now the one who said, you can't handle it, has retracted that because of my tenacity and received me. And now the breath, the eternal breath of life, the word, declarations, judgments, decrees, is now active in my life. And there's very specific classified information, which I'm seeing it. There's things that I've been shown. That was another one of the recent broadcasts. I was taken and shown, and wow. So only if you are in life and you have Arca communications. If you come to me and it is known to me that you are in life, and you have Arca communications, I might share this information with you, but I'm going to presume it's classified at this time because Daniel, it's this compartmentalization thing. Daniel, I think he went offline because he didn't even want to talk to me about it. Well, it's a 50-50 thing. He was like, no, I'm going to go off and I'm just going to be on. I'm going to take a vacation and I'm going to go study blank. What? If you're in life and blank is over in eternity and Chet's in eternity too, what, you think that Chet's not going to find out about this? So Daniel was shocked when 6-8 months later, Chet comes along and says, hey, I had a dream and it's about blank. And Daniel's like, oh, what? It's the thing I've been studying. Wow, he was so happy. So happy. I was too. I didn't know what I was looking at. So, eternity. The things of eternity. Do you want to know about the things of eternity? That Messianic scripture that says that the human mind, the mind cannot comprehend the things that is it the I am he's speaking of here? The I am. Because see, Yahusha is the Word, the eternal. He's in his temporal form here. Was it Yahusha that said it? Or an apostle? I should know better, and I don't. The mind cannot comprehend the things that he has reserved for those that know and love him. You see, it's this knowing. So many, they read or they heard, they know about. You've heard me say this before. Well, they read a book. They know about. Do you know the author? Do you know the author of the book? And see, that's a difference. It's one thing to hear about what was somebody said, what an author said or an author wrote. And that's 999,999 out of 999,999 out of 100,000. That's the ratio. It's 1 out of 100,000. No. They know the author. The rest, they know the author personally. So not only have they read the book and heard about the author, but then it's like, oh, hey, you wrote or I heard you said, can you tell me more about that? Yeah. Do you want to talk to the eternal authors, plural? Yeah. There's at least 7 of them that I know of. Well, there's 3 eternals and the 4 L's. Do you and then the arc. Anyway, 15. Do you, because it's how is the communication made? Hey, it's up to them. But more lately, for me personally, Arca, black. It's always going to be something black, somehow, some way. Something black in my reality. Arca, black. Why? No light. Light is a part of temporality. My ring light here, my little switch, my little button here. Which one here? My button light switch here. Oop, no light. Arca reality. Yeah. No light there. Get connected for free. That song's like 14 or 15 years old now. I looked it up. The original is posted on YouTube. This guy, the Education Connection. Get connected for free. Free spiritual upgrade. You have no clue what this guy's talking about. This guy has said it's word salad, or they mock. I was trying to tell some people a couple days ago, and they just were like, oh, that says you haven't said anything. They mock. Well, really, in a way, it is. It says to them that perish, it's foolishness. Foolishness. I'm a fool, a clown, a fool, and a nigga. Hi, my name's Jed Allen Botorf, and I'm a clown, a fool, and a nigger. Yeah. Hi, I'm a nigger. Yeah, I'm a fool. However, this fool and nigger is connected to Yahuah Al Shaddai and Yahuah Al Ehim and Yahuah Al Elyon and Yahuah Al Olam and the I am, the breath, and the word. And I'm pretty dumb. Oh, and I'm retarded. Yes. Hi, my name's Chet Alan Batorf. I'll get one of those little blue and white stickers you put on you. Hi, my name's Chet Alan Batorf, and I'm a retard. I'm retarded. Hey, I'm retarded. Because every now and then when I go into their reality and I'm running my mouth like, oh, they're looking at me like, dude, you're retarded. You're retarded, dude. You're retarded. Who's this retard? Who's this? They're an eternity, and this retard out of temporality comes into their eternity and tries to talk to them about something. And they're like, dude, you are retarded. They don't say it to me. That's just the way they look at me and the way they interact with me. They're like, who is this retard? But for those that would find grace and mercy in the sight of the eternals, the gods, have you found grace and mercy in the sight of the gods? Gods, plural. You know, the dumb religious persons get all offended and upset over that. The gods? Yeah, the gods, plural. Have you found grace and mercy in the sight of the gods? I have. I've done some things, made them really mad at me. I'm glad that they've forgiven me. Man, were they mad. Daniel was like, you have really pissed them off. That was like 3 years ago. Daniel was like, you have really made them mad. That was Chet playing around with his gold-plated AK-47. Chet found an ethereal power weapon. With endless ammunition. My gold-plated AK-47, and I'm blasting away. And they were like, dude, what are you doing with our stuff? You stole our stuff. What are you doing with our stuff? They were mad. Okay, I'm sorry. I put my. It's tempting to pull that thing out. Put his gold-plated AK-47 away. There's all sorts of weapons. Gold-plated AK-47, that's classified. It's something completely different than a gold-plated AK-47. But when Chet talks to the dum-dums and the masses, Chet calls it his gold-plated AK-47. That's not what it is. It's like a gold-plated AK-47. It is not a gold-plated AK-47. That's an energy weapon. Chet found a power weapon. And maybe they will tell me, yeah, guess what? You get to pull out your gold-plated AK-47 and a couple other ones, too. Ooh, you found a spiritual hand grenade. Pull the pin out of that and lob that over there at those dum-dums over there. But there's enough of that going on right now. The spirit world is just the destruction and death. Okay, I don't know. How much time do I have here? Where's my recording? There's no time on it. Oh, it's going to end shortly. Okay. So I'll just talk to